Okay, I'm going to do a video on the Easy Red metric double box offset locking reversible wrenches, wr5ml Easy Red. And these are really hard to come by nowadays, so I did see some videos of people breaking them, but I just think they're not using them correctly. I will find out, I assume. So let's go ahead and get these open, take a look at what we got inside. So we're going to use the old Rambonator. Have a little fun with this. Alright, let's take a look at what we got in here. So these, my presumption on these wrenches is that they're not long for torque, they're long for reach. A lot of times people will not use the right tool for the right job, in my opinion. I've got these just to make it easy to access some of the bolts that are on the Volkswagens that I work on, and the rest of the stuff that I have to work on, but especially Volkswagens. Let's take a look at what we got here. Now, caution reason. Offset gear offers more surface contact access to recessed fasteners. That's the point. 72-tooth design, extended length, allows for improved access to hard-to-reach automotive applications. It's not about torque. The durable switch button allows for quick change ratcheting direction. Extra long design provides for more strength. Please always comply with blah, 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 blah standards. Okay, operation. Don't use gearbox. And do not dead tight job. What the heck is that? Do not use don't use on a gearbox. And don't dead tighten job. Okay. They're telling you right here in the best way that they can to not torque down on these. A rusted fastener must use open end first, then use gearbox for rapid working. See, this is right here when the wrenches. You got people whining and crying, I broke my wrench. Well, what the hell were you doing with it? Put a cheater bar on it? Don't use a pipe. Oh, there we go. As an extension leverage, twist on gearbox end. Okay, so look. They're telling you right here. I'm sure they're letting people know what not to do. Here's some visual instructions for those who don't understand the written ones. I love it. So for everyone that's saying they broke their wrenches, man, I don't know. Maybe you got a bad one, or maybe you're just doing something like that. Right? Wrong wrench for the job. Please visit Easy Red warranty. Well, I know the warranty on this thing is not going to be the same tool, because from what I understand, and I could be wrong, these are no longer made in this specific flex neck locking reversible setup. So let's take a look at these, okay? So if you look at this, we got a 17 and a 19. I'll flip her over here. 17 and 19. That's their offset end. What I like about them is they're serviceable. You can get in there and grease them up and clean them out. This should be your reversing feature switch. Let's get it out of here and get it in the right position. Action ain't bad. I don't see any problem with that. Reverse is easy. Here's another nice feature on the end of these. You can get a grip on them. Okay, so that doesn't... Oh, I see what's going on. Okay. They got a little grippy feature on the side here, and that, I guess if you really needed two fingers to switch that, you could do it, you know, like that, but you don't. You can flip it down here. Okay, I thought that would be attached to the drive, where you could turn the drive with that, but no, I'm wrong. So that's to facilitate flipping them into reverse, okay, if you had to. Locking features on the side here. And if you can use these with some care and moderation, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. I'm just taking a look here. Let's take a look. Get this to focus. Fit and finish isn't too bad on it. Take a better look at this head part here. I like that that screw can be removed or tightened if you really needed to, but I don't see, bear with me here, why you'd need to. But yeah, she flexes well. Locks in pretty well. So what they're telling you in the instructions, basically, loosen the nut or the bolt first, and then this is to allow you to get it off quicker, okay? Which makes sense. This is just a secondary tool. I mean, that's the whole idea behind this. So 1719 here. We've got 17 and 19. I'm going to try and get her back in the phone. We've got 16 and 18. Okay, let's take a look at all of them here. I just want to go through them quick. Make sure they're all working. Okay. They're ratcheting right before I give a good review. Now you can hear a little bit of a different sound to this one. I think that's a little louder than the other ones. Yeah, that is quite a bit louder. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the other one and see if that was loud also. Might just be the diameter of the... a little bit quieter. So it appears that that one side on this 18 is going to be a little louder, like it's got a stronger spring in it. Go over here. Never been a fan of spline drives, but maybe it's just because the spline drives that I tried in the past were, you know, like a beginning stage of the spline drive craze, and I just wasn't happy with them. But these newer spline drive setups look a lot better. They look like they perform like they're supposed to. You know, and I hear people complain about being able to flip them into reverse. I don't see any problem with it, you know. I mean, that one's a little tight, but I mean, no big deal. There, that's easy. What's the problem? Okay, so I'm good with that. Come on, get in there. Let's take a look here. So she's good there. Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. See, that one's loud too. So I just think it's the, you know what I'm going to say it is. It's not, if they put grease in these, which I assume they put grease instead of oil in these, is some of them have more grease than others. That's why they're a little quieter. So I will be tearing mine down and putting some grease in them myself before I use them. Okay, let's see this little one here. What do we got here? An 8 and a 10. Throw it in a garbage can like Ave does. That was so funny. I watched this video with AVE, and he's doing a review on some damn thing, or I don't remember. He just takes the 10mm and throws it in a garbage can and says, oh, there you go. Because most people lose their 10mm. Me, it's a 12. Okay. Action's good. Neck moves good. Oh, so this is easy. Easy. I don't see a problem. There are some videos that talk about the differences in the spline drive. And one of the complaints that that person was bringing up was the fact that these spline drives, let me show you. were not square on the drive. See how they're rounded? And he felt like they were, how do you say it? The other ratcheting wrenches he had where they had the square spline drive rather than the rounded here would grab better. One thing I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. These are cap stop, first generation of these Easy Reds. I was hoping these weren't going to be cap stop because I can manage to hold a wrench on a nut over a stud. And that's the only thing I see that I don't know if I'm going to like. That's the feature I don't know if I'm going to like on these. Okay, so if you put this down on top, because it's called cap stop, on top of a nut, the nut won't pass through. Some people like that. You can set it on the nut and you can work on it. The only thing is you're only going to be able to really get on the nuts that you can't get to a secondary nut over another nut, if that makes sense. So if you have a double nutted stud and you want to get to the lower one to torque it down a little bit more without having to torque the top one, because you can't do them both at the same time, you're not going to want to use this wrench. So, but anyway, other than that, I don't see a problem with it too much. The other thing I was thinking of too, I could take a broach and go in and count up these splines, and I can alternate and broach this so that a nut would pass through. I don't think I'm going to fiddle with it. I don't want to loosen this, how do I say it? I don't want to lessen the strength of the cap stop, which is integrated into the spline drive. But a person could do that, but I'm not going to fiddle with these. I'm going to leave them alone. But if you wanted to, you could. You go in and broach that out in 4 positions, right? So if I were to broach this in 4 positions, then you'd have the ability to get past a nut with 4 positions on the nut. Of course, you got so many different nuts now, so let me try and make sense of what the hell I'm saying here. Or fastener types. Okay, so if you broach that like this, okay, right there, they could make this the perfect wrench. Just make them out of titanium and broach them so that you could slide over your standard head right there. Right there. And I know there's some other wrenches that are broached to do that, to facilitate it, so I can't remember who makes them. But anyway, there she is, Easy Red wr5ml double box ratcheting wrench set, cap stop, locking flex neck, reversible on nut or bolt. Because they'll say reversible, and then what they mean by reversible, you just flip the wrench around. You got to watch out for that. So there it is. And this is the first generation. First generation on the Easy Reds in this series of wrenches had the cap stop, which is what I got. I was hoping it was a second gen, but I'll live with it. That's the cap stop. Okay, second generation, if I remember right in my research, did not have the cap stop. They got away from the cap stop. And then there was a third generation which had no locking. So the third generation is no locking cap stop, no locking neck, and no cap stop. So they got different styles, but that's what in the research that I did, that's what I figured out. So there she is. If you can get your hands on these, I would recommend them, but I wouldn't make a daily use out of them. They wouldn't be for daily use, they'd just be for hard to reach nuts and bolts that you need to loosen instead of sticking your hand behind the manifold, between the firewall and the manifold, up underneath the turbo, and you're sitting there trying to spin around as you're laying on top of the engine going, why am I doing this the hard way? On a Volkswagen. Well, there you go. Over and up.